This morning I'd like to invite Jerry and Shara Piercy, or Daniels, I'm sorry, to the platform this morning. Today we have a unique opportunity. We have the opportunity to recognize and rejoice with someone who has reached the milestone of 50 years of gospel ministry for the Lord Jesus Christ. Jerry and Sherry were graduates 1971 of Baptist Bible College. The Daniels were approved as BBFI missionaries to Kenya in May of 1972 and arrived in Nairobi, Kenya, January the 24th, 1974. They were greeted by independent Baptist missionary Ed Weaver, who was a great help to them in navigating the new strange environment that they faced. The Weavers became lifelong friends. Their first major challenge came just 2 weeks after beginning language school when Sherry had a miscarriage. After her recovery, she insisted on staying in the more advanced Swahili language class, where she managed to catch up, and not only catch up, but to excel above the other students. Another great challenge was schooling for their three sons, aged 9, 7, and 5. After language school, they moved to Eldoret, a key town in the extreme western area of Kenya, which did not have adequate schooling for their boys. So without the wide range of materials available today, Sherry started homeschooling, which she continued for over 10 years. After their sons transitioned back to America, Sherry started a school for Kenyan children, which eventually gained national notoriety and is still going strong after 40 years. This school has graduates throughout Kenya and beyond. Some even have advanced degrees from prestigious universities in America and Europe. Their 3 years in Western Kenya saw great blessings from the Lord in that they were able to start 6 churches, a Bible institute, and had a dozen pastoral students. Jerry and Sherry were joined by Tommy and Liddell Moore during their first term, which was a huge blessing to their family and ministry. After returning from furlough, they saw that the ministry in Western Kenya was flourishing under the capable leadership of Tommy Moore. So they prayerfully surveyed other needy areas, eventually settling on Nanyuki, a key town in northern central Kenya. God richly blessed the ministry in this area over the next 45 years with almost 200 churches being planted, a Bible college, and 6 satellite campuses, orphan ministries, and 4 Christian schools. I think they've been slacking off, haven't they? The Bible Institute has grown with a current enrollment of over 280 students. Many of the graduates are pastoring churches and evangelizing remote areas of the country. Over the past 50 years, God has enabled them to affect 4 main culture groups, beginning with the subsistence farming areas, then more educated city people, then semi-nomadic tribal people like the Maasai and the Turkana, as well as majority Muslim areas in the northern part of Kenya. In the early days, they would take a projector and a generator and Bible films out into the remote areas in order to attract a crowd. This is just one of the valuable methods they learned from missionary Ed Weaver. Over the years, they were blessed with other missionaries who rotated through their ministries after completing language school. BBFI missionaries, Dave and Bonnie Jones, John and Judy Kirkland, Vernon and Mary Smith, Keith and Karen Hainline, all left very positive marks upon this ministry. The Daniels would say some of the greatest blessings and accomplishments are: learning Swahili was the greatest challenge we faced mentally, but God graciously opened our minds to this all-important necessity. Secondly, having our 3 sons participating in the ministry and watching them develop spiritually was so satisfying. Our eldest, Russ, and his wife Sylvia have been BBFI missionaries to Uganda for 30 years. Number 3, seeing hundreds of children come to know Jesus Christ through the school ministry and then reaching entire families with the gospel. Number 4, today the various ministries are being led by Kenyans. They are planting churches, often in some of the harsh conditions and at great personal sacrifice, discipling new believers and training new church leaders. Jerry and Sherry state, and I quote, "It's almost a cliche to say that all of the blessings in one's ministry are due to God's amazing power and for His glory. But in our case, It is especially true because we have always viewed ourselves as rather ordinary missionaries who arrived in Kenya at the beginning of a great harvest time of souls that has spanned for 50 years. Would you help me congratulate them this morning?